Kilgara. In a land of myth, and a time of magic, the destiny of a great kingdom rests on the shoulders of a young boy. His name, Merlin.
Forest. Day. Merlin collecting firewood with other peasants. Merlin sits down sadly on hillside overlooking Camelot.
Merlin. Or, Beride a Hephonym. Turns a distant smoke into a shape of a running horse, fades back to smoke. A woman runs to him and grabs him. Catherine. Did you see it? The smoke, did you see it? Merlin. No, I saw nothing. Catherine. Are you blind? You were right here. It was magic, I tell you. There's sorcery here. We must tell the king. She runs off. Merlin. No. Wait. King's palace, throne room. Uther. It was sorcery you saw, and you're certain of it? Catherine. Yes, sire. Uther. And you swear this before your king. Catherine. I swear it. Arthur. Perhaps your eyes deceived you, a trick of the light. Catherine. The smoke was alive, I tell you. I feared for my life. Uther. I thanked you for bringing this to my attention. Your loyalty will not go unrewarded. Catherine. Thank you, sire. A knight escorts her out. Uther. It cannot continue. Arthur. I will hunt down those responsible, father. I promise they will not escape unpunished. Uther. No stronger methods are called for. Send for the witchfinder. Courtiers gasp. Gaius. Sire, is it necessary to resort to such measures? Uther. The witchfinder is a trusted ally, Gaius. His help will be invaluable. Gaius. Of course. King's palace, physician's chambers. Gaius. How many times, Merlin? How many times must I drive it into that thick skull of yours that your magic is a secret to be guarded with your life? What were you thinking? Merlin. I wasn't thinking. Gaius. Well, think, boy, think. Merlin. It was just a bit of fun. Gaius. It was magic and it was seen. Merlin. You're right. I'm sorry. Gaius. You must hide the book. Anything that can connect you to sorcery in any way. Merlin. What? Now? Gaius. Yes, now Merlin. The man that Uther has sent for, I know him.
Merlin. The witchfinder. Gaius. Some know him by that name. I know him as Aredian. He is a force to be reckoned with. Merlin. But I'm not a witch. Look. No dress or anything. Gaius is not amused. Merlin. I'll get the book.
King's palace, main square, Morgana's chambers, night. Aredian shows up in the square at night with a large horse-drawn cage. Guard approaches him.
Aredian. I am expected. Morgana watches from her window.
Gwen. Is that him? Morgana. Yes. Gwen. What's that cage for? Morgana. It hardly bears thinking about. Aredian looks up at her window. Morgana gasps. King's palace, council chamber, night. Arthur and Uther enter. Arthur. So where's he been all this time?
Uther. In foreign lands. Wherever the pursuit of sorcery takes him.
Arthur. He does all this in your name. Uther. The witchfinder serves no one. He's a law unto himself. Aredian suddenly appeared behind them. Aredian. Do you smell it? Do you smell it, Uther?
Uther. Aredian. Aredian. It's all around us, the foul stench of sorcery. It's infected your great city like a contagion.
Uther. I welcome you to Camelot, Aredian. Thank you for making such haste to be here.
Aredian. Well, let's hope I'm not too late, For every hour counts in the war against sorcery. Unchecked, it spreads like a disease. It seeks out the young and the old, the weak and the able, the fair and the foul of heart alike. You've grown lazy, Uther. You've grown idle. Your once noble Camelot is rotten to the core. You stand on the brink of dark oblivion.
Arthur. I am at your disposal, Aredian. The knights will aid you in any way they can.
Aredian. You must be Arthur. Arthur. I must be.
Aredian. You're a great warrior. The finest this kingdom has ever known. Arthur. Thank you. Aredian. So you won't be offended when I say that I shall have no need of you or your knights. The subtle craft of sorcery can only be fought by yet subtler means, methods honed over decades of study, methods known only to myself.
Uther. We are grateful for your help. Aredian.
But gratitude alone can't keep a man alive. You must put food in his belly. Uther. I will pay your price, Aredian, whatever it may be. Aredian. I will bid you good night. Arthur. Aredian, when do you begin? Aredian. I've already begun. Lower Town, day. Aredian peers at Gaius and Merlin from around a corner as they walk down the street. Aredian. Gaius, isn't it? I never forget a face. Gaius. Nor I, Aredian. Aredian. A physician now, I hear. You always did have a thirst for knowledge. Gaius. Scientific knowledge. Aredian. Of course. Gaius. My assistant, Merlin. Aredian. Merlin. Gaius. May your investigation prove fruitful, Aredian. However, you'll have to excuse us, we have work to do. Aredian. Naturally. They start to leave, but Aredian calls for Merlin. Aredian. Merlin. I have a few questions I would like you to answer. Please be at my chambers in an hour. King's Palace, Aredian's guest chambers day. Aredian. You are aware then, that sorcery has been practiced in the vicinity of Camelot. Merlin. Yes. I mean, apparently. Aredian. No, it cannot be denied. There was a witness. Merlin. Yes, I know. Aredian. Do you also know that the woman has named you as a witness? Merlin. But, Aredian. I've already spoken to her. She was quite clear on the matter. Merlin. But I wasn't a witness. Aredian. Oh, sorry. Perhaps I misheard. Do you deny that you were present at the time of the incident? Merlin. No, I was there. Aredian. Well, so you saw it, the horse conjured from the smoke. Merlin. I saw the smoke, but it was only smoke. I saw nothing else. Aredian. Are you saying that she lies? Merlin. I didn't say that. I said I didn't see what she saw. Aredian. Well, how can that be, I wonder? How can one person see something and the other not? Merlin. I can't explain it. Aredian. I'm at a loss as to explain it myself. Unless it was you who performed the magic. Merlin. It wasn't. Aredian. Can you prove that it wasn't? Merlin. No. Aredian. That'll be all. Merlin gets up to leave. Aredian. For now. King's Palace, Throne Room, day. Aredian presents 3 women before the court.
Aredian. Speak, do not be afraid. Beatrice.
I was drawing water from the well, sire, when I saw them. Faces in the water. Terrible faces, like people who were drowned, screaming. Merlin. Whispers to Gaius. I haven't done anything, I promise. Aredian. Tell them what you saw. Annie. A goblin dancing on the coals. It was dancing in the flames, and it spoke, sire. My heart near stopped for fear of it. Aredian. As you've heard, my lord, the incident in the woods was only the beginning, Rowena. There was a sorcerer, sire, in the square. There were creatures jumping right out of his mouth. Aredian. And what manner of creature? Rowena. Toads, sire. Great green, slimy things as big as your fist. Aredian. The sorcerer laughs in your face. Even now magic flourishes on the streets of Camelot. Uther. I can scarcely believe it. Aredian. Yet it is the truth, my lord. Fortunately, I've utilized every facet of my craft to bring this matter to a swift resolution. Uther. The sorcerer. You have a suspect. Aredian. Oh, I do, my lord. I regret to say, they stand among us in this very room. My methods are infallible, my findings incontestable. The facts point to one person and one person alone. Pointing a finger to Merlin. Aredian. The boy, Merlin. Arthur. Merlin. You can't be serious. Gaius. This is outrageous. You have no evidence. Aredian. The tools of magic cannot be hidden from me. I am certain that a thorough search of the boy's chamber will deliver us all we need. Uther. Merlin. Merlin. I have nothing to hide from him. Uther. Very well. Guards, restrain the boy. Let the search begin. King's palace, physician's chambers, day. Guards smash Gaius's possessions in their search for magical objects. Gaius. Careful, please. That's my life's work. Aredian. Comb every inch. The sorcerer is a master of concealment. Arthur. There's nothing here, Aredian. Aredian. I'll be the judge of that. Over there behind this tapestry. In there, upend that stool. Be sure to check for hollow legs. In there within those powder jars. Leon breaks one and finds a bracelet inside. Sir Leon. Here. Aredian. An amulet of enchantment. Were you aware, physician, that your assistant kept instruments of sorcery? Gaius. No. Aredian. Well, our work is done. I must inform the king. Gaius. Aredian. I know for certain that that amulet does not belong to Merlin. Aredian. Oh? Well, who does it belong to, then? Gaius. It belongs to me. King's palace, dungeons, day. Arthur opens Merlin's cell. Arthur. You're free to go. A guard escorts Merlin out. Merlin passes Gaius being escorted in. Merlin. Gaius? What's going on? Gaius. Say nothing, Merlin. Do nothing. Promise me. King's palace, physician's chambers, night. Merlin returns to find the place ransacked. King's palace, council chamber, night. Uther and Arthur eat dinner with Aredian. Uther. Gaius served me with unfailing dedication. Without his knowledge, his wisdom, I would not be sitting here today. Aredian. You show great faith in him, sire. Great faith, indeed, considering he was known to practice sorcery. Arthur. Gaius? You are mistaken. Uther. No, Arthur. He speaks the truth. I'm well aware of his past, but I have every reason to believe he's turned his back on sorcery. Aredian. Until now. Uther. We don't know that. And this amulet you found, it could just be a stupid mistake. Aredian. Or maybe he's fallen back into old habits. Arthur. We must give him the benefit of the doubt, surely? Aredian. Why? Anyway, there's a sure way to establish his guilt. Uther. I know your methods are effective, Aredian, but Gaius is an old man. He could not withstand such treatment. Aredian. It's the only way to rid your mind of doubt. King's palace, dungeons, day. Aredian throws water on Gaius. Gaius. What time is it? Aredian. Time for you to confess. Gaius. The amulet was a relic from the past, a keepsake. Aredian. But such artifacts are banned on pain of death. Surely, you must know this. Gaius. I was wrong to have kept it. I'm grievously sorry for it. Aredian. Well, that's a good start. It's an excellent start, but not nearly enough, I'm afraid. Gaius. Aredian. Aredian. Guards. Guards throw Gaius in his cell, then repeatedly questions him. Aredian. Was your conscience clear when you practiced magic in the days of the Great Purge? Gaius. I have not used magic for many years. Aredian. That your assistant kept instruments of sorcery. Gaius. It belongs to me. Aredian. So if someone else were to practice magic? Gaius. No. Aredian. You're an enemy of this kingdom, you're an enemy of your king. Gaius. No, my conscience is clear. I'd like a drink of water, please. Aredian. And you shall have one, when you've confessed. Gaius. Then I shall die of thirst. Aredian. Aredian shrugs. King's Palace, Dragon's Cave, night. Merlin sees Gaius being dragged out of his cell. Merlin goes to the dragon's cave. Kilgara. What is wrong, young warlock? You look so pale. Merlin. I did a stupid thing. Stupid thing. And now Gaius is going to pay for it. Kilgara. Gaius means nothing to me. Merlin. But he means a great deal to me. Kilgara. Very well. Tell me what has happened. Merlin. A witchfinder has come. He's arrested Gaius for sorcery, but I am the sorcerer. Kilgara. Yes, I suppose you are. Merlin. Well, I'm going to confess. It's the only way to save him. Kilgara. Then your stupidity continues. Merlin. I won't sacrifice a friend to save myself. Kilgara. Bravely spoken, but Gaius is already doomed. If you confess, the witchfinder will just burn you both.
Merlin. But it's my fault. Don't you understand? Kilgara. All too well, young warlock. But understand this. If you were to die, you would endanger the lives of all those that rely upon you. Merlin. Well, there must be something I can do. There must be. Please help me. Kilgara. Merlin, I see you are distressed by this, but I cannot help you because I do not know how to. Merlin. I can't just stand by and watch Gaius die. I can't. Kilgara. I am sorry. Kilgara flies off. King's Palace. Dungeons, night. Aredian interrogates Gaius again. Aredian. You're a traitor. You're an impostor. Sorcery is your only master. Gaius. I serve only my king. Aredian. Ha, in what way have you served him? You've lied to him. You've broken his laws. You've betrayed his trust. Gaius. I've saved his life. I've treated his ward. I've protected his only son. Aredian. You've treated his ward. Gaius. I have striven to help all those in need. It is a physician's duty to do so. Aredian. The Lady Morgana. Gaius. Among others. Aredian. For what malady does she receive this treatment? Gaius. She suffers from nightmares. Aredian. I see. Gaius. And as I said, I feel it is my duty to attend to the needs. Aredian. Yes, yes. You seem very keen to change the subject, Gaius. Perhaps I should question her myself. King's Palace. Dungeons, day. Gaius sees Morgana being led into Aredian's dungeon chambers. Aredian. There's no need to be concerned, my lady. I won't detain you long. There's just a small detail I wish to clarify. Now, it's true, is it not, that you have received treatment for nightmares? Morgana nods. Aredian. And it was Gaius, the court physician, who administered these treatments. These potions. Morgana. Yes. Aredian. I'm sorry, could you speak up? Morgana. Yes. Aredian. Thank you. Now, you may go. Morgana smiles in relief and gets up to leave. Aredian. You don't happen to know what was in these potions, I suppose. Morgana. Oh, no. Aredian. No, of course not. You're not a physician, After all. So, for all you know, these potions could have been magical, your dreams the product of an enchanted elixir. Morgana. Oh, I had these dreams before Gaius started treating me. Aredian. But these dreams, have they got better or worse since Gaius began treating you? Morgana. Worse. Aredian. As I thought. Thank you. You've been most helpful. King's Palace. Dungeons, day. Aredian pokes Gaius in his cell. Aredian. Gaius. Are you prepared to confess? Gaius. I'd rather die of thirst. Aredian. Good. And die you shall. But not alone, I'm pleased to say. You shall have company. Gaius. What? Aredian. Merlin and the Lady Morgana are to join you in the flames. Gaius. No, this is a trick. Aredian. Shakes head.
You've corrupted them, Gaius, and they must answer to their king. Unless. Gaius. Unless what? King's Palace, Council Chamber, day. Aredian throws Gaius to his knees before the court. Aredian. Confess. Confess. Gaius. I am a sorcerer, sire. I am responsible for conjuring the smoke. I'm guilty of practicing magic in Camelot, the goblin, the faces in the well. I am the sorcerer who conjured the toad from his mouth. Uther. You've betrayed me, Gaius. Betrayed your friends, and above all, you've betrayed yourself. By the laws of Camelot, I must sentence you to death. Aredian. The sorcerer will be purged of his magic by means of fire. He shall be burnt at the stake tomorrow at dawn. Bear witness and heed this lesson.
Guards drag Gaius out of the room. Merlin charges at Aredian. Merlin. You're a liar. Arthur gets up and restrains him, dragging him from the room.
Uther. Guards. Merlin. You're a liar. Arthur. To guards. I'll deal with this. King's Palace, Dungeons, day. Arthur takes Merlin to the dungeons and lets him go. Merlin takes a swing at him, but Arthur grabs his arm and twists it behind his back. Merlin. Arg. Arthur. I know you're upset. I know you're angry. It's all right. I'm not throwing you in jail.
Merlin. Then what are you doing? Arthur lets him go.
Arthur. I'm breaking the law. Arthur opens Gaius's cell. Arthur. I can only give you a few minutes. Merlin and Gaius hug. Merlin. They wouldn't let me see you, there was nothing I could do. Gaius. I know. I understand. Merlin. I can't believe it. I can't believe Uther would do this to you. Gaius. He had no choice. Once Aredian had found the amulet.
Merlin. I didn't even know you had such a thing. Gaius. It isn't mine. Merlin. Why did you say it was? Gaius. I was trying to protect you. Merlin. I don't know what to say. Gaius. It's all right, Merlin. You don't have to say anything.
Merlin. Yeah, I do. The amulet isn't mine either. Gaius. Then how did it get there? Merlin. Aredian. Gaius. Aredian. Merlin. There's no other explanation.
Gaius. But why? Merlin. It doesn't matter why. All that matters is, if I can prove he planted it, you're saved. Gaius. No, you must let this go. Merlin. No, you're falsely accused. I have a chance to prove that. I must take that chance.
Gaius. No, Merlin. You must not. Merlin. I don't understand. Do you want to die?
Gaius. No, but neither do I want you to die. And die you surely will if you get too close to Aredian. He will trap you, Merlin. He will manipulate you, and without ever meaning to, you will incriminate yourself. You must let this go. Merlin. I must let you go. Gaius. To do otherwise would be an act of suicide. King's Palace, Physician's chambers, day.
Merlin watches out the window as the guards build a pyre in the square. King's palace, dungeons. Aredian visits Gaius in his cell.
Aredian. Ah, Gaius. Well, I hope you've found some relief now that your ordeal is over. Gaius. Your concern is touching Aredian. Now will you please get out of my sight?
Aredian. Ha. Of course. I just thought you'd want to hear the news, that's all. Gaius. What news? Aredian. My investigations have begun. Gaius. Begun? But you already extracted my confession. Aredian. Indeed. Which just leaves Merlin and the Lady Morgana.
Gaius. But we struck a bargain. Aredian. Oh, I don't bargain with sorcerers.
Aredian chuckles darkly. King's palace, Morgana's chambers. Morgana watches the pyre being built in the square from her window. Aredian appears behind her. King's palace, physician's chambers, night.
Gwen bursts in. Gwen. Merlin. He won't let go. He won't stop. Merlin. What happened? Gwen. The witchfinder's questioning Morgana again. I'm worried, Merlin. She's close to breaking point. Merlin. Yeah, that's what he does. He breaks you down and in the end you confess whether you're guilty or not.
Gwen. What do you mean? Merlin. Gaius was set up. Aredian planted that amulet. Gwen. But why would he do such a thing? Merlin. Aredian is paid to catch sorcerers. Maybe he doesn't care whether someone is guilty or not. Maybe he gets confessions by lying, by planting evidence. Just as long as he gets a confession, he gets his money.
Gwen. But even if this is true, what can we do without proof? Merlin. Get some. King's palace, Aredian's guest chamber, night. Merlin snoops around. Merlin. Toespringe. Merlin's spell unlocks a cupboard and he finds flower petals. Merlin hears someone coming and remakes the bed with a spell. Merlin. Dafed at bed. Aredian enters. Aredian notices something is off, but looks in the wrong hiding spot behind a curtain. Merlin is under the bed. Aredian leaves the chamber.
King's palace, physician's chambers, night. Gwen and Merlin flip through books. Gwen.
This is hopeless. Merlin. Keep looking. Gwen.
We don't even know if this flower means anything.
Merlin. No, we don't, but it's all we've got. Here. Belladonna. Gwen. For the alleviation of ulcers, allergies, and muscular inflammation. This is hopeless, Merlin. Merlin. No, wait. Listen. Under certain conditions, a tincture of the flower can produce hallucinations. Gwen. So. Merlin. Scoff. Aredian's witnesses. It wasn't magic they were seeing, it was visions. Gwen. It makes sense, if he's faking the evidence. But how can we prove it? Merlin. No, Aredian's too clever to have given the tincture to them directly. The witnesses, they must have got it from someone else.
Gwen. They could have been getting it from anyone. Merlin. Is there anything at all that these people had in common? Gwen. They were all women. Merlin. No, that doesn't tell us anything. Gwen. Yes, it does. What's the one thing only women would buy? Things to make them look beautiful. Lower Town, apothecary, night. Gwen and Merlin run through the lower town at night and knock on a door. An older man steps out.
The apothecary. Gwen. They step inside. Gwen. Do you sell a tincture of belladonna? The apothecary.
What's this all about? Gwen. Please, it's important. The apothecary. Well, I think I've got some somewhere, but what you'd be wanting with eye drops in the middle of the night, I really don't want to know.
Gwen. Eye drops. The apothecary. Yes, women use them to make their eyes more beautiful.
Merlin. Where did you get this? The apothecary. Well, my usual suppliers. Merlin. Sure you didn't get it from someone else? The apothecary. Of course I'm sure. If it's all the same to you, I'd like to get some sleep.
Gwen. It was Aredian who gave you the belladonna, wasn't it?
The apothecary. Don't know what you're talking about. Merlin. But you know that Gaius is going to be executed tomorrow, don't you? The apothecary. That has nothing to do with me.
Merlin. That has everything to do with you. Aredian's witnesses saw visions. Visions produced by the belladonna in these eye drops. If we can prove this, we have a chance of saving Gaius. The apothecary. He forced me to sell it. He said he'd kill me if I said anything to anyone.
Gwen. It was him? It was Aredian? The apothecary. Yes, it was him. Gwen. Thank you, Merlin. Thank you. King's Palace, Physician's Chambers, night. Merlin grabs the tincture and belladonna petals.
Merlin. That's it. We've got everything we need. Gwen. But is it enough? Merlin. We've got a witness as well. Surely that's enough. Gwen. It's still just our word against Aredians. Merlin. Gwen, we don't have a choice. By dawn tomorrow Gaius will be dead.
Gwen. Merlin, we've only got one chance at this. We've got to give Uther something he cannot deny. Something not even Aredian can talk his way out of. Merlin. I'll be as quick as I can. King's Palace, Aredian's guest chamber, night. Merlin sneaks into Aredian's room and raises a hand to the cupboard. Merlin. Whisper. Halais min nihist bebod. Merlin approaches Aredian and reaches a hand over Aredian's throat.
Merlin. Whisper. Sealwerk. King's Palace, Dungeons, Physician's Chambers, dawn.
Gaius sees sunlight enter his cell. Gwen sees the sunrise from the physician's chambers. Gwen. Come on Merlin. Come on. King's Palace, Aredian's guest chamber, dungeons, day. Aredian gets ready in the morning, trying to clear his throat. He fetches Gaius from the dungeons. Aredian. Good morning Gaius. King's Palace, Physician's Chambers, day.
Merlin runs in. Gwen. Merlin. Where have you been? Merlin. It's done. Everything's in place. Gwen.
But it's too late. Gaius has already left the dungeons. Merlin. Then we'll have to delay the execution. Gwen. How? Merlin. Arthur. I'll speak to Arthur. Gwen. No, leave Arthur to me. King's Palace, Main Square, day. Aredian escorts Gaius to the pyre in the square in the horse-drawn cage. Uther watches Gaius as he's brought out, but leaves before Aredian opens the cage and drags Gaius to the pyre. Arthur. Easy there. Show some respect. Gwen. Sorry. Excuse me. Excuse me. Sorry. I must get through. Sorry. Excuse me. Arthur. Arthur. Arthur, you've got to stop this. Arthur. I can't, Gwen. You know I can't. Gwen.
Merlin has proof that Gaius is innocent. Arthur. My father's already passed sentence. There's nothing I can do. Gwen. You can do the right thing, Arthur Pendragon. You can show some faith in a loyal friend, or you can stand by and watch an innocent man die. Arthur. Guinevere. Gwen. You did it once before to my father. Are you really willing to let it happen again? And you can stop looking at me like that. I know I'm only a servant. I thought you were a prince, so start behaving like one. Aredian lowers the torch to light the pyre. Arthur. Wait. King's Palace, Throne Room, day.
Merlin. Sire, the witnesses saw nothing but hallucinations induced by the belladonna in these eye drops. Uther. And you bought this belladonna from this man. The witnesses all nod. Uther. Where did you get it from? Don't be afraid, no harm will come to you here. The apothecary. The witchfinder. He gave them to me.
Uther. Did he tell you what it was for? The apothecary. No. Only that if I did not sell it, he'd have me burned at the stake. Uther. How do you answer to these accusations? Aredian. They're absurd. The boy has clearly concocted these lies in the hope of saving his master.
Merlin. Then you won't mind if we search your chamber, will you? Uther. Silence. You have no authority here. Arthur. Father. Let's settle this once and for all. If what Merlin says is wrong, he must bear the consequences, but if there is some truth in what he says. Aredian. I have nothing to hide. King's Palace, Aredian's guest chamber, day. Aredian, Merlin, Arthur, Uther, and Morgana watch the guards toss the room.
Aredian. You're wasting your time. Arthur. The cupboard over there. Dozens of amulets drop out, and a stash of belladonna tincture is inside.
Aredian. These things don't belong to me. This is a trick. Asterisk cough asterisk. That boy plots against me. Aredian tries to clear throat and spits out a toad. Uther. Sorcerer. Aredian grabs a dagger and the Lady Morgana.
Uther. Aredian, think carefully about what you're doing. You will never escape from Camelot alive. Aredian. I will if you value the life of your ward. Merlin. Whisper. Forbearnan. The handle of the dagger heats up and Aredian drops it, freeing Morgana. Aredian trips backward over a box and falls out the window.
King's Palace, Physician's Chambers, day. Gaius cleans the mess that the guards made. Uther enters. Uther. Gaius, I'm glad I found you here, Gaius. As am I, my lord. It thought I'd never see these chambers again.
Uther. If anything was damaged in the search, I'll be only too glad to replace it. Gaius. You're very kind, my lord. Uther. Aredian. I can still scarcely believe that he was a sorcerer. Gaius. Indeed. Is there some reason you wish to see me? Uther. Yes. I wanted to say I'm sorry if you suffered at his hands. Gaius. But I did not suffer at his hands, Uther. I suffered at yours. He worked for you, my lord. He was merely following your orders. Uther. But I was deceived. Gaius. No, you were deceived long before Aredian, for you deceived yourself. You see foes where there are friends, you see sorcerers where there are but servants. I am not the first to be wrongly accused in your war against magic, and not all have been as lucky as I. Uther. I assure you, Gaius, every measure will be taken to ensure that nothing like this will happen again. Gaius. I hope that is true, for all our sakes. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have work to do.
King's Palace, Physician's Chambers, night. Gaius serves dinner. Gaius. What I don't understand is how you knew he'd concealed the evidence in his chamber.
Merlin. Just a hunch, really. Gaius. I see. And the toad. Merlin. That can't explain. Gaius. I can hardly explain it myself. Unless, of course, you put it there. Merlin. Okay, Gaius, fair enough. I promise I will never save your life again. Gaius. Promise. Merlin. Absolutely. Merlin and Gaius laugh. Gaius. Honestly, Merlin, the toad was a step too far. Merlin. You should have seen the look on his face. They laugh.